Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into a big one, a recent National League East game that felt, well, pretty pivotal. This wasn't just, another Tuesday night game. It felt important right from the start.
It absolutely did. We're talking about that New York Mets 4-0 shutout win against the Atlanta Braves, just a commanding performance. And like you said, it wasn't just the score. It felt like a real statement from the Mets.
Exactly. A statement from pitch one all the way to the final out. They just looked totally in control. So our mission here is to break down this key game from, well, every angle. How did the Mets shut down that really dangerous Braves offense? And maybe more importantly, what does this win actually mean for both teams? That super tight NL East race.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. The Braves, their offense can usually just explode, right? How did the Mets manage to keep them so quiet, like a complete shutout?
Well, the absolute cornerstone, the foundation of that win, it was the Mets pitching, the whole staff. It was, frankly, nothing short of brilliant. Brilliant how, though? What specifically were they doing?
They consistently kept that Braves lineup full of guys who can, change the game with one swing. They kept them off balance. And it wasn't just like throwing hard. It was location, it was movement, and a really smart sequencing of pitches. They just minimized hard contact.
So less about pure power, more about strategy and execution.
Exactly. They weren't just trying to blow it by them. They were thinking, you saw the starter, probably went pretty deep, right? Setting the tone, being efficient, maybe getting weak ground balls, some key strikeouts when runners were on.
Keeping the pitch count down.
Right, and then the bullpen comes in, and they just didn't give an inch. Same precision, same plan. It really showed a deep understanding of the Braves hitters. They knew the weaknesses, and they attacked them. Never let them get comfortable.
Okay, so pitching was obviously dominant, but you still got to score to win, especially a shutout. 4 runs isn't like setting the world on fire, but against the Braves, that's still solid work. How did the Mets offense get it done? What did that look like?
Well, they were opportunistic is the word, I think, and efficient, really efficient. 4 runs and a shutout against a tough opponent like Atlanta. That tells you they made their chances count.
So not necessarily relying on home runs.
Probably not solely, no. I'd imagine it was timely hits, runners in scoring position, maybe finding a gap for an extra base hit, or even just grinding out runs, a key walk, moving runners over, a sac fly. Smart baseball.
Yeah, I can almost picture it. Stringing things together.
Exactly. Maybe like a couple of singles back-to-back, then maybe a double just inside the line, and then driving a run in with a ground ball to the right side. Manufacturing runs, basically.
Yeah.
Not just waiting for the 3-run homer.
And that approach, that kind of disciplined offense.
Yeah.
How important is that, especially when the pitching is dealing? It feels like a team that knows how to win close games, playing smart.
Oh, it's huge. It shows they aren't just reliant on power. They can play situational baseball. They focus on the little things, getting runners on, moving them over, putting the ball in play. That wins you a lot of games. And getting 4 runs across while your pitchers are throwing zeros, that's a complete performance. It keeps the pressure on.
Right. And speaking of complete performances, a shutout, well, it's never just the pitcher, is it? The defense has to be locked in, too. You mentioned an impenetrable wall.
Yeah.
How much credit does the Mets fielding deserve here?
Oh, a ton. You're absolutely right. The defense behind that pitching staff was immaculate, clean. Think about it. Probably some slick double plays turned, right? Outfielders maybe running down balls in the gap.
Yeah, saving extra bases.
Exactly. Infielders making those tough plays look, well, almost routine. Every single play matters in a tight game like that. And error avoided is a run saved, potentially. And in a 4-0 game, that's critical. That defense makes the pitcher's job so much easier.
Yeah, and it must just kill the other team's morale, hitting the ball hard and seeing it turn into an out every time.
It really does. It's demoralizing. That kind of sharp defense usually comes from, lots of practice, good communication out there, everyone committed to the fundamentals. It just creates this feeling for the other team, like, what do we have to do? The pitching and defense were totally in sync. Just a wall, like you said. The Braves couldn't find a crack.
Okay, let's flip the script for a second. What about the Braves? Getting shut out like that by a division rival, what's the takeaway for them?
Yeah, for Atlanta, this has got to be a pretty stark reminder. Even the best offenses can just get shut down sometimes. Not scoring a single run either points to maybe just an off night, or more likely it highlights just how good the Mets pitching and defense actually were on that day.
So they need to look at their approach.
Absolutely. It forces them to maybe reevaluate things. How did they attack the Mets pitchers? Were they too aggressive, too passive? Did they fail to make adjustments during the game, and maybe the starter's plan was clearly working against them? It's just one game, obviously, but a loss like this, especially a shutout in the division, it probably sparks some internal conversations,
Yep.
about their strategy. Do they need to be more adaptable at the plate sometimes? Maybe work counts a bit more against certain pitchers.
Right. So zooming out then, the bigger picture.
Mm.
What does this specific game, this 4A Mets win, mean for the NL East race? It's always such a dogfight.
Well, the implications are pretty significant, I'd say. Winning like that, a shutout, against a direct rival, it's not just adding a WNEM in the win column for the Mets. It's also kind of a psychological blow to the Braves.
A message sent.
Yeah, exactly. It shows the Mets can't just hang with the top teams in the division. They can really dominate them on their day.
Huge confidence boost for the Mets then.
For sure. Massive confidence builder. It reinforces their own belief that they're series contenders. And for the Braves, it's a bit of a wake-up call, maybe. A reminder of just how tough this division is night in and night out. Looking ahead, these head-to-head games, they just carry so much weight, like potential 4-point swings almost. The Mets definitely landed the first big punch in this recent set. You can bet people will look back at this game later in the season, especially if things stay tight. It could set a tone.
Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive. The story seems pretty clear, doesn't it? The New York Mets delivered a major statement win against the Braves.
Yeah.
It wasn't just luck. It was just really solid baseball across the board, top-tier pitching, smart offense, and that lockdown defense. They basically suffocated a really good lineup.
Yeah, that 4-0 score, it's more than just numbers. It really is a testament to a team that was firing on all cylinders, executing their plan perfectly, discipline, precision, all that stuff.
So for the Mets, you got to think this injects a huge amount of confidence, some real momentum, cements them as a team to watch out for. And for the Braves, well, it's a lesson learned, right? A reminder of the fight ahead. Probably leads to some thinking, some adjustments.
Definitely. The final thought maybe is this. This game wasn't just another tick in the schedule. It feels like it's really laid down a marker. It just sets the stage for what's probably going to be an even more intense, really captivating rivalry as the season goes on. Makes you wonder how the next matchup goes, doesn't it?